YouTubers, it's MagicTheGatheringUK here again, and today I'm going to talk to you about my game day at my local game store, the Aether Revolt game day at the Ivory Goat Games, which is my local game store. So I'm going to tell you about what happened at game day at my local store, and tell you the deck tech for what I ran, go through my deck, explain why I chose it and all this kind of stuff. So let's talk about game day. Let's tell you what happened. So there's 5 Swiss rounds. I believe there's 20 people taking part at game day at my local store. So yeah. First round I win somehow. I can't remember what the deck I was playing against, unfortunately. But we 1-0 the first round. Round 2 I lose. It was to some kind of control deck, I believe. As I say, unfortunately, I can't remember the exact matchups, but basically we went 1-0, 1-1. Then the third round we won again, so we went 2-1. And then we lost again, so we were 2-2. We lost to, I believe it was another control-y type deck that was playing the Sahili combo. That was kind of an irritating match, but I'll talk about that a bit later on when I go over the deck tech. And then game 4, we won as well. So we went 3-2 overall in the Swiss portion of the game day, which is the first 5 rounds. Because there's 20 players, there's 5 rounds, all that kind of stuff. So, it comes to the standings, and they start reading off. As you know, or should know anyway, from my last game day, I came in 9th position, which means I just missed out on the top 8. Which means, unfortunately, I didn't get the top 8 promo or the chance to play for the game day championship, which was unfortunate. But this game day, we get to 3-2. We go to the standings. They start reeling them off. Get to the top 10. I'm not 10th, which is good. They read out 9th place, and I'm in 9th place again. So, I just miss out on top 8 for the second game day in a row, coming 9th. That's the worst position to come, if you ask me, because it's like, well, I'm just on the cusp, and, you know, if my matchups had been slightly more favourable to me, I would have been in the top 8 instead of someone else. So, just how it goes. Basically, I missed out on top 8 because of my matchups, which is nothing you can really do about that. But the story doesn't end there. Whoever came in 8th couldn't stay for the rest of the day. So they had to drop out. Which means because I was in 9th place, I moved up into the top 8. So I kind of came 8th. Unofficially, I suppose. Technically, I was moved up to the 8th spot. So I was in the top 8. So the first top 8 I've ever made on a game day. Now, coming into this game day, I honestly expected to lose every single match, because all the testing I'd been doing, I'd been losing every single match online with this. But it all sort of came together on game day, I suppose. So we made top 8. That's awesome. Finally made a top 8, which is actually not that bad. We've only attended 2 or 3 game days. I think this is my 3rd. Missed out on top 8 last time by 1 position. Missed out technically this time as well, but got lucky and someone dropped. Put me up to 8th. So we're in the top 8. Which means I get to play some more Magic, which is always good. So the first round of the top 8, obviously I'm bottom seed, so I have to play the top seed, who went 5-0 in the Swiss rounds, with, I think it was blue-red Dynavolt Tower, which was pretty insane. I will tell you straight off, I won the match 2-0. I won 2-0. Some really tricky plays that went on during the match. They were playing a lot of counter spells and that sort of stuff, and kill spells to basically destroy my board all at the time. So one of the games that I won in that matchup was pretty insane. Basically, I had a Bristling Hydra out. I'll talk more about this later when I go through the deck tech so you understand it a bit more, but I'm sure you all know most of this deck anyway, but basically, I had a Bristling Hydra out, and that was basically how I was going to try and win the game, was just to fight through with pump spells and trample and all that kind of stuff to win with the Bristling Hydra. It was basically the last turn of the game. If I didn't get this Bristling Hydra through to do the rest of the damage. I was probably going to die from just them destroying me with a better board presence and basically me not being able to protect my creatures any longer. But I'll explain the situation. I was on 10 energy. My opponent had about 8 energy, something like that. I can't remember the exact details, but I was on 10 energy. I think it was 3 mana open and a Bristling Hydra. So I don't know the exact way it happened, but I was attacking with the Bristling Hydra, I believe. They tried to kill it with some kind of Dynavolt trigger or something like that. So I used 3 of my energy to give it hexproof and a counter. They then targeted it with another spell. I think it might have been Lava Axe or Lightning Axe or a burn spell. I again triggered 3 more energy. So it gains hexproof, +1/+1 counter, on the stack at least. And then again, they try to burn it out with either the Dynavolt Tower or some other burn spell again, I can't remember which. Again, I trigger my energy. So I'm down to 1 energy now, and it's on the stack. Unfortunately, they again attack my Bristling Hydra with another burn spell or something like this. It basically cost them around 5 or 6 cards in their hand to try and kill my Bristling Hydra at this point. I was out of energy. I didn't have a Blossoming Defense in my hand or anything like that. So what happens? What I did have in my hand was a Harnessed Lightning, which is this card. And what did I do? I cast it. I targeted my own Bristling Hydra. And that caused me to gain 3 energy, which meant I could then pay the 3 energy to give my Bristling Hydra hexproof and another counter. And that basically, because of that and keeping my Bristling Hydra alive, giving it all those counters, it allowed me to get through a lot of damage, keep my Bristling Hydra alive, and because of that I eventually won the game. So that was a pretty cool play. I was pretty happy with that. Yes, and I think I just finished the game with a shock at the beginning of his next upkeeps or something like that. So that was pretty cool. I was pretty happy with that. So we won the first round of the top 8. Second round of the top 8. I'm not sure the exact deck it was. It was some kind of blue control-y type thing with Saheeli and a couple of other things. I was a bit worried about this one because Saheeli wrecked me earlier on in the tournament. Because earlier on in the tournament I was playing Aethersphere Harvester and I gained up to like 40 life, but of course I didn't have a shock, so when they went to do the combo, the Saheeli combo, I couldn't actually stop it, so I just died on the spot, even though I had like 40 life. Which is unfortunate, but yeah, so I was expecting kind of a similar matchup this time around. Unfortunately, I can't remember the exact deck, but we went 2-0 again. So in the semi-final, I went 2-0. So I'm through to the finals of game day. I cannot believe it at this point. I don't know how this is happening. I don't know if I'm getting lucky with my draws, whether I'm playing just better than I normally do, or what's happening, but it was going well. It was going well. So we're going to the finals, and I don't know what the deck's called or what the exact deck was. It was some kind of white-red deck. It was playing Heart of Kieran, it was playing Toolcraft Exemplars, Fraben Inspectors. It was kind of an aggro deck. I don't know if it was Mardu Vehicles, but it was something like that. Something similar to that anyway. And I thought I was in right trouble here, because he was hitting me with 2 Toolcraft Exemplars on like turn 4 or something for 6 damage, plus the Heart of Kieran that he was crewing with something else, with a Thraben Inspector or something. So I was taking a heck of a lot of damage super quick. But luckily I managed to keep my Bristling Hydra out. Oh no, it wasn't actually a Bristling Hydra, it was a Electrostatic Pummeler. I had one of those out. And I managed to just pump him with larger than life. I had enough energy to double it twice, and I just dealt 20 to his face straight away. I think I was on 1 life at the time when I did that, so it's basically do or die. And that won me one of the matches. And in the second match, it was just a bit more grindy, where I used a ton of pump spells on 1 turn to get him down to about 7 life, and it killed off a lot of his creatures because he was blocking with them. And it was just a case of just keep attacking. And eventually I got through for the winning damage. And that about sums up game day. And I won 2-0 in the final. And I am the game day champion of Aether Revolt. I cannot believe it, honestly. It was a shock, to be fair. Shock, get it? That actually did some work for me in the last game as well. He blocked with a couple of creatures, and I shocked one that allowed me to keep my Voltaic Brawler alive, which was doing a lot of damage at the time. So that was pretty useful. Got him down to 2 life, and then I won the game next turn. Nice. So yeah, there we go. That explains what happened at game day. So of course, I am the game day champion. So you get the 2 promos, the top 8 promo, which is your Henny's Expertise foil full art. Very cool card. Looks awesome. And of course the participation promo, which is the Trophy Mage, which is a pretty sweet card as well. So that was awesome. We also won six Aether Revolt booster packs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is pretty awesome. I'll be opening those up in another video at some point in the near future. And of course, as we are the champions, we also won the Game Day Champion mat. There it is, Ajani. I'm sorry I can't get a good shot of it, but there it is, the Game Day Championship mat. I am super happy. I could not believe it. Especially going 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 in the top 8. That was pretty nuts. Still don't know how I did it, but it happened. And here we are. So now I've explained how we got here. This is my winning deck for game day. Let's go through the deck tech of it, which is hopefully what you've all waited for, and I hope you haven't all left after my rambling of explaining what happened on game day. So let's go through the deck here, just so you can see what it's all about. Let's go through the mana base first. Pretty straightforward. We've got 3 Cinderglades, 3 Game Trails. You don't want too many of these in this deck. There's a good chance that these will come down tapped a lot of the time. Not a lot of the time, but it's possible they could, especially in your opening hand if you've got the wrong one, or you haven't got any accompanying basics to play them out non-tapped. So we only play 3 of each, not 4. That's very important. And then for basics, we've got 7 forests, 3 mountains, and then 4 Aether hubs. The Aether hubs are extremely important in this deck. Gives us a extra energy if we need it, and also early game it allows us to mana fix for stuff like Voltaic Brawler and a Tomb of Aether if we need to on turn 1 if we haven't got any coloured mana, or we've only got like a Cinderglade in hand, we can't play it untapped or whatever. So Aether Hub, very useful card, very important to this deck actually. And then spells, we've got a Tomb of Aether, 4 of those. Incredibly important in this deck. We're only playing 20 lands, I think. So to have a Tomb of Aether basically gives us 4 extra lands, essentially. And it also generates us energy, very efficient energy generator. We've got... I put 1 shock in the main, just because of the CD Healy combo, basically. I mean, 1 copy is probably not ideal, but it at least gave me some kind of out when playing against the Saheeli deck in game 1. Harness Nightling, 2 of those in the main. Again, great way of generating energy, and is pretty decent creature removal if you need to do that. As I said, I used it not as removal, but as just general energy generation at one point in the game, just to allow me to get another trigger on the Hydra, which actually won me the first match of the top 8. So that method of it was definitely important as well. It's not just a removal spell. 2 larger than life. Originally, before Aether Revolt, we were running 4 of these. And we were also running 4 of the red pump spell that I can't remember the name of. But we've removed those. What was it called? It was called... Built to Smash, that's what it was called. We removed those from the deck because they printed basically a strictly better card for our deck, which was the Invigorating Rampage. 2 mana, choose 1, target creatures +4, +0 and gains trample, or 2 target creatures get +2, +0 and trample. So, problem with Built to Smash is it only gives 1 creature +4, +4, and it only gives trample to an artifact, which is great for the Pummeler, but not so great for the rest of our creatures, like the Hydra, the Aethersphere Harvester even, or even the Aether Chasers, whatever. So This card's just strictly better in this deck. Definite upgrade. And we're still running the 4 Uncaged Fury. This card is just ridiculous. If you attack, say with a Hydra and they don't block, you know, play that, and that's an instant 8 damage getting through, which is beating. Add that with a, you know, Invigorated Rampage on top, and that's, you know, 16 damage instantly from just attacking once. You know, it's crazy. So very important card. It is quite costly, so I do tend to board this out if I need more creatures in the deck. These are sort of the card I go to board out. So bear that in mind. It is quite costly and quite slow because of it. But if you're in one of those sort of grindier matchups and you're sort of facing down a lot of creatures on the either side of the board, this will definitely help you smash through, because obviously double strike means you get first strike, so you can destroy a lot of their board if they block anyway. Very useful card for those kind of matchups. We've got the Aether Chaser, 2 copies of these. We've actually replaced the Long Tusk Cub that was in the deck originally with these. These are just pretty awesome. You still gain... The problem with the Tusk is you don't gain energy when you play it. You have to deal damage to an opponent to get the energy. This, you just get the 2 energy straight away when you play it, which is good if you're later on in the game, because you can use the energy on the Hydras or the Aether Sphere Harvester, your Pummeler, whatever. It also has First Strike, and it's a 2/1, so if you're playing like the white deck, a lot of those creatures have 2 toughness. The white-red Mardu deck or something like that, a lot of those Aether Inspectors, or not Aether Inspector, whatever it's called, Framing Inspector, and the Toolcraft Exemplar, stuff like that. You can just block with this for days, or attack with it. You probably want to be attacking with it. If they block, it will just die. So, very good card. Very good early play. And then, of course, we've got 4/7 of the Conduits. Good mana fixing. Allows me to get Hydras out on turn 3. Or, you know, a Pummeler and keep a mana up for Blossoming Defense to keep it alive. Something like that. So, extremely important card. Also gains your energy, of course. We have 4 Voltaic Brawlers. This card, again, very good early game. 2 mana for a 3/2. Already pretty strong. And then you gain 2 energy when you play it. And you can also, when you attack, pay 1 energy to give it +1/+1 in trample. Extremely strong card in this deck specifically. Very good. Definitely don't want to be without them. And we are now running one copy of the Aether Sphere Harvester. This card actually helped me a lot. I mean, you only have a 1-off, so your chances of drawing it are pretty low. But if you do, and you get it out, it's very strong. I mean, it gives you something to do with your Aether Chasers later on in the game. You can crew your Harvester with it. Even your Pummelers, if you don't have any pump spells or whatever going on at the moment, you can use your Pummeler to, you know, crew your Harvester. It allows you to stay in the game longer as well if you're starting to lose life, because you can pump this. I did this on a couple of occasions where I pumped it. It's like with a larger than life to give it +4/+1 and an Invigorated Rampage. So we're giving it like 8 on top of it, so like an 11/5 or whatever. And then you gain 11 life, just like that, and deal 11 damage. Pretty strong. Definitely a great card. Don't know if you want to run more than one, but it's possible that this deck could find that useful. Something to think about. But yeah, that was the main board for this deck. Very strong package. I did have some struggle against control, I have to say. The counter-heavy decks. To be fair, though, in those matchups, I did get really poor draws. So I didn't have many creatures to play. I didn't have good hands, basically. I probably should have mulliganed a bit more aggressively, although this deck doesn't mulligan particularly well. But against control, I think it's a bit more... You have a bit more lenience there. I don't know if I mentioned it as well, but 4 copies of Blossoming Defense. Protects your creatures. Gives them hexproof, give them a bit of a buff as well, so good for offense and defense. Very strong card. Would not want to play anything else other than that, really, in that spot. Definitely need it. So there's the main board. We'll go through the sideboard here. I think I could probably make some changes here. We've got 3 Lafnu Hellion. Very strong card indeed. Great against control, if you can get it out and they don't counter it. Because, you know, 3 mana for 4/4 with haste. They won't expect it. Bam, get it in there. Maybe pump it as well if you've got enough mana. Who knows? Very strong card. Perhaps want to be running 4 rather than 3, but we've got 2 copies of Kari Zev's Expertise. This is a new card from Aether Revolt. Again, very strong card in sort of creature matchups, I suppose. It allows you to steal one of their creatures for the turn, which will either reduce the blocking size by one of their creatures, or, you know, when you attack with everything, it'll give you possibly one creature going through without being blocked, so then you can use your pump spells to get through a ton of damage. I like that card a lot. Also means you can play one of your pump spells for free. So you play this, and then you can play your Invigorated Rampage, for example, for absolutely nothing. So, great value card there. Boarded that in, as I say, against creature-heavy decks. 2 more shocks for the Saheeli matchup, basically. Try and stop that combo going off. Another Harness Lightning, just in case I need more energy, or, again, another way to remove pesky creatures. And then this is where the sideboard gets a bit iffy. These are what I put in for a control matchup, an Island and 4 Fevered Visions. Not something you really see in this deck very often, but this package is extremely good against control, but only if you get them early. If you get them late, they'll just counter it, and it becomes a bit rubbish, really. It's a great way of getting through extra damage. Personally, I'm thinking about taking these out. It didn't seem to work out too well since Aether Revolt came out. It was working pretty well pre the new set, but since the new set came out, it doesn't seem to be working nearly as well. The counters and general control matchup is way harder now, and this didn't seem to cut it. So I didn't really, towards the end in the top 8, I wasn't boarding these in against more control-y decks. I was just going far more creature focused. So I think I might take these out and replace it with another Lafnu Hellion, maybe some more other creatures. Haven't figured out what yet. Maybe another Aether Sphere Harvester, perhaps. Not sure, but I wasn't feeling that too much, unfortunately. It is fun playing that, though. And then 2, Appetite for the Unnatural. This is for those vehicle decks, basically. Get rid of some of those pesky vehicles. I didn't actually need to board these in at all. I just felt... I felt like it was easier just to go straight for the face and just forget about the vehicles. Because we don't really care about taking damage, because we can reply with like 40 damage from a pummeler or something like that. So, I don't know. Maybe these might be necessary for some decks, but I didn't have to board them in once, so who knows. Again, something that might be worth playing around with there. But there we go, that wraps up the deck tech for my green-red energy deck that won me game day. I still can't believe it happened, but there we go. A rather extensive video there for you, explaining my deck and what happened on game day. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up button if you did. Subscribe to the channel for plenty more Magic the Gathering goodness. And as always, I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye!